welcome back to episode 14 of the Unpaid and Underrated Podcast, a podcast by crew for crew. I am one of your hosts, Big Keith. I'm joined as usually by my buddy, Big Joey.
Hello, hello.
And our guest this week that'll come on later, Big Kaden.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, buddy. Let's just go ahead and dive right in, guys. We're getting a little bit of a late start, so let's catch up for lost time. What is everyone drinking this week? Big Kaden, what do you got, buddy?
Oh, I got a prebiotic soda. It's poppy grape.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that.
It's my favorite flavor. Actually, it's actually the only flavor I've had. So I haven't tried any of the other ones. My girlfriend got them, and I never been into that stuff. So this is the one I tried, and now I really like it. So.
Oh yeah, you got to do that pre and probiotic stuff. Like that's so good for your stomach. I have the one I talked about last week. I have the candy can birthday cake.
Nice. I'm curious if this one is as sweet as the one last week.
Yeah, 0 sugar. Don't eat it, drink it. We'll figure it out, guys.
Mm-hmm.
The top has sprinkles.
Nice. Well, while Joey takes a sip of that and gets back to us, I'm knocking out a Liquid Death. I've never had a Liquid Death. I've seen them before. Everyone's always talking about them.
Is it flavored? Or is it
so yeah, there were I bought 3 individual ones and I left the unflavored because there was 4 options available at the store, and I left just the one that was straight up seltzer water on the counter because F that. But this one is the mango chainsaw. So I don't know. I've never had this. Is it supposed to be like super aggressive? Like what's the
No, so I genuinely enjoy the unflavored Liquid Death.
It's good.
I think the unflavored Liquid Death is the best sparkling water I've ever had. And
wow.
somehow the way that they do it, the bubbles are the flavor. I think that's weird.
I think I'm tasting it like that. I don't know if you're saying it, and it tastes. Well, it is definitely a different.
I don't enjoy the flavored. So when I was at the Arnold, I bought the flavored ones and was like, yeah, I could give or take this. But anyway, huge ups to Joanna Angel for hooking us up with Liquid Death.
It's almost like
you don't know who that is. Don't Google it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know who that is, don't Google it.
Is that Tanner's friend with the big boobies? No.
No. But let's just say Joanna's in that industry.
Okay, so we'll get the Google machine on that.
Yeah, Liquid Death sponsors her.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm impressed with Liquid Death. I guess it's better than I thought it would be.
Oh yeah,
different.
They know what they're doing. Have you ever had one, Kaden?
I might have had one. I'm not big into the whole sparkling water deal. The other guys. I'll try it. It's just not my cup of tea. I'd rather just drink plain water, to be honest. But I do enjoy it.
Plain water is easily my favorite one, so that makes sense.
What are you wearing tonight there, Muscles? I can't tell through your beard. You're covering up the
your muscles.
Joey's muscles in this, like his beard and the microphone were just covering up the Massenomics logo. I wasn't sure what he was wearing.
I've got the kind of fit, kind of fat. Right? Yeah, I was messaging you and Kaden. You're not aware of this. I just got in the house from a 3-day training resort on leadership and management with my company, and I got home. And I unpacked, and I didn't have the attachment for my microphone into the computer. And I have no way around that. So I immediately didn't tell anybody. I was just yelled, bye. And I jumped in my car and drove down to the closest Apple store. That piece is in Toronto, which is about an hour away from me. So I just came home and threw on the closest, least sweaty shirt I could find. But however, the kind of fit, kind of fat, drinking the GOMAD and the GOMAD beer. Oh no, that's beer. I thought it was milk in the other one, but it's beer and pizza.
A favorite combination of one of the hosts for sure. I'm rocking out the weight is a number, heavy is a feeling. It was actually I saw it on the dresser, and it had the deodorant stains on it from where you just kind of you just put the shirt on slightly wrong after you have deodorant on. And I was like, well, I can wear that for the podcast because no one's going to know unless I tell them about it. So I guess that's all.
Then you did.
I ruined it. What about you, Caden? When I see a red shirt, they could be one
Yep, one of the few, the 7-year
7 years strong
anniversary.
going podcast. There we go. That's a good one.
Yep, I got home from work and took a shower and got into my laundry basket of Massenomics shirts that I don't fold or hang up on the hanger, and this was at the top, so I grabbed it.
Nice. So I guess I'll lead off. Everyone was anxiously waiting for this. The sock update, the follow up for the tail end of last week's episode, the left and the right. So I was meaning to do this. So I did do it, but I literally waited till tonight. Every morning I thought about it when I put my socks on, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I'm either a minute early, right on time, or a minute late. I'm not gonna fiddle with my socks, so I have to put them on normal all week long. And then, like right before I came down, I was just on the couch, like, oh, let me throw this on the other foot. There's definitely like something in the arch support portion to where how if you don't have a flat foot, you have your arch on like the inside, so there's just more cushion and tension and compression on that portion of the foot that is not on the other side. So wearing them on the other side, basically like the side of my foot that sits lower to the ground has all this extra material versus the way it should be, where the extra material kind of sits where your foot has the natural arch. So to me, that is why they are left and right specific. And I think I was looking back in my deadlift socks, which are just like generic soccer socks from Dick's. Those are also left and right, but I think that might just be more of I don't, not specifically, because those are not necessarily compression, but they're definitely labeled left and right also. So I don't think it's that uncommon, but I definitely felt weird wearing them for the 30 seconds they were on my feet. So I cannot do that.
I wonder if, again, if you were blindfolded, if you'd notice. I think you're gonna have to tag somebody in. Maybe we'll do that for a video for some content.
Yeah, there we go.
Instagram at the meet.
Instagram. We got to blow that up.
We'll blindfold you and just hand you 2 socks, and then just say walk around for a second and see if you notice.
There we go. Big Kaden, did you have a chance to watch the new video that came out today? I know you just said you just got home from work a little bit ago. Tanner's video, was that? I really enjoyed it. What did you think of it if you got a chance to watch it?
I liked it. I always try, and if I see the notification on my phone, that's the first thing I'll watch. I'll get my supper made and then sit down and watch that. It was good. It's not sort of I like the goofy stuff, but that it was a good episode with him. He brought up good qualities for people that not necessarily strong, but strong in their own right, and not comparing themselves to like Julius Maddox or Shane Hunt, I think he said.
Yeah, I feel that. Like I'm more of the line of like I like my 50. I'm like 50-50 silly goose, serious goose probably. So like I do enjoy a good, like I want like a real, like not that the silly goose isn't valuable content, but I don't know. I like more seriousness every now and then. So when I actually get some of that sprinkled in, I always enjoy it just as much, if not a sea hair more than the other one, than the silly goose one.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask Joey because I already know he absolutely did not have a chance to watch that video, but it was a good one, buddy. The gist of it is don't compare yourself to others, which I'm sure that's a motto you can more or less live by. Like as far as lifting, like your 500-pound deadlift versus someone's 900-pound deadlift, like yours is still impressive, theirs is impressive. Yeah, you compare yourself against yourself, basically. So I took away some good value in that for sure. So we are 9 days out from the meet, boys. 9 days out from Saturday. How is everyone feeling about that? That's crazy. Yeah. I'm like, I still have a couple training days left. Like the people are talking about like they're training up until Thursday. It's like, that blows me away. It's like, I'm wrapping shit up. I'm closing everything down on Sunday. That'll be my last training day pretty much. What about you, Kaden? I know you're honing in that peak. How you feeling?
Yep. This is my first like actual peaking program that I did. This is my second powerlifting meet that I've ever done. And obviously using Juggernaut, so it's new to me, the peaking and whatnot. But my last heavy deadlift last weekend, I kind of tweaked my back a little bit, so I'm working around that.
Yep.
Been to the chiropractor a couple times, starting to feel a lot better. I was walking sideways all weekend, waiting for Monday so I could get in. Was supposed to squat. My last heavy squat was supposed to be Monday, but planning on it to be tomorrow, and it probably won't be as heavy as it has it programmed for me, but at this point, I don't want to push anything. I'd rather feel good at the meet. But yeah, Juggernaut has us. A lot of the guys in the gym were all lifting. Like I think Friday we're even doing the day before the meet we're doing a little SBD like 30% day. So that'll be interesting. I know Legend Larry he doesn't has never done that, so he's kind of timid to it. But I'll get him down there to get it done.
Now, does Larry actually have a smartphone now? Because last time I heard about Larry's cell phone, it was still a flip phone that he wore in his blue jeans, and was dead in the front pocket of his blue jeans while still deadlifting. So, did Larry step into the new time age?
Yep, he does. He has a iPhone. Doesn't really know how to use it besides text and call though. Setting up Juggernaut on his phone was stressful for him, and we helped him. Me and Big Flying Ryan down at the gym. We got it all set up for him, and I think that's all he knows how to use is Juggernaut AI, text messages, and dialing people's numbers in.
Nice. Well, we'll dive into a lot more of that Massenomics gym lore in a little bit. Let's just see what else we got left. We got a really big announcement, not an announcement, but does Joey want to talk about our the big Massenomics news, the big contest winners?
Yeah. I wanted to make sure, because as nice as it was to hear all the winners, we are the crew cast. Like, we are the crew podcast. So I wanted to make sure that we spent a minute to acknowledge the winners. So we had our I'm not going to talk about anybody that isn't crew. So the heaviest deadlift isn't in the crew. You don't get to be in this podcast. We're going to talk about the 3 random winners, which were former podcast guest Big Kevin and host.
Yes, guest host, absolutely.
Future podcast guest Big Lou and future podcast guest Big Kurt Locker. So congratulations, you guys, for winning the random entry. And of course, it was all crew. It had to be.
I was so happy to see that.
Yep. Yeah, that was nice. But also former guest and probably future guest, and one of my friends, Big Murph, Big Christina. Congratulations, Big Murph, for winning the favorite video. And I think we all saw it coming by a mile.
Oh yeah,
that was a good, well done video. So
I don't think it had the most amount of effort to it for sure. I can't imagine carrying that barbell to that many places. Like, it wasn't just like 2 or 3; it was like 6 or 7 places. I feel like she carried. Yeah. And I don't know the geography of if they were all like, if she did it over the course of like weeks or like a couple days, or was it just one long massive day? She just was hoofing around 135.
It was still great though. It was a really good video. So congratulations to all the winners. We did it, crew. Congratulations to the crew for winning the crew.
Yeah, I was happy to see all that. It was good to see all the, us win, basically. I hate when a contest, it, like when they do the call-in episodes and like it just happens to be a bunch of random people and like they're not in crew and they're just like, I don't know. I like the 2 call-in episodes that you DM that your number in the story or whatever when the hosts don't have anyone to guest, they're to be on a guest, and then they actually call people out. They'll physically call people from their phone, and like when it's actually like 90% crew or people that you already know or people you're friends with on Instagram, like that's great. When it's just some random person, it's like, I mean, that's good for them, but unless they're going to join crew out of it, like, I mean,
I wonder what the turnaround rate on that is, because I think I bet some of them probably join the crew afterwards.
That's possible.
And they're just like, wait a minute, like I could have been talking to the guys while we were loud. Speaking of that, Kaden, Big Kaden, have you ever been on the podcast? Have you ever been called?
I have never been on it. I know he's talked about me before on it, and it's always super exciting to be laying in bed and then my girlfriend's right next to me and we hear my name and I'm like, oh, that's me. It's sort of that deal. Otherwise, no, I never called in, nothing like that. Wasn't around during the OG Massenomics Party podcast, so never got to get in on that either.
That's fine.
I feel like you would have been in middle school when that party was going on, buddy. Like,
yeah,
that was like 2017. So yeah.
Now we are 9 days out from the meet, and obviously we can't hold anything back.
Yep.
So, like, Kaden, we'll talk about this a little bit, and maybe you can fill in some of our gaps. So, I am actually really excited to see the zoo. I'm going to be honest with you. But I also really need to try those double fried wings or whatever from Circus. But ultimately, I think the place I am most excited to see is the Qdoba Rock. and probably just the fulfillment center. I feel like that's going to be like, we're all going to be just a series of golden retrievers, just running around all happy and dumb, just excited to be at Tanner's house. What about you, Keith? Like, where do you think, like, if you had an hour and it was like you have 1 hour to go see the places, go see the Massenomics lore places in Aberdeen, where are you going?
I mean, it's got to be the gym for me. Like, where is the gym in that? Because I mean, if the gym's on the table, it's got to be the gym because there's just so much history there.
Yeah.
I'm definitely getting assigned. I mean, it's more of the new thing. I don't. Do you think they switch billboard? Well, Kaden, have they switched? Is the billboard a different billboard each time, or has any of the billboards been repeat locations?
I believe they're all been in different locations. Yes.
Okay, so like it would be cool. Like that would. I mean, I'm definitely getting a picture with the billboard, but if it was the same billboard each time, like that would even be cooler. But even still, like walking away with the pictures of the gym and in the gym, and actually being able to, like, play with all the cool shit that any of the cool shit that I don't have. Just being in Tanner's backyard is going to be sick. Like and I did see that. I think it's going to go 6:30 to 9:30. So I'm not sure what time you're getting in, Joey, but hopefully you can get there for at least a little bit of it.
Steve and I will have a chat because he said he can't really leave. If we're going to get there at any reasonable time, we're going to end up having to do like a 12-hour drive and then a 12-hour drive. So
brutal.
And I can't drive his car.
You're not even gonna, like, there's no attempt of, hey, do you want to learn to drive? It's just gonna be
unless you can teach me to drive manual in a minute.
I mean, you can watch
before.
him shift. Okay.
I've tried before. The coordination throws me off. So we'll see. I think we'll figure it out. I think that as long as I say, like, hey man, we got to be there by 6:30. If that means we have to get up at 5:30 and get back on the road, then that's what we're gonna do.
Cool beans. Well, either way, you'd be there for the meet. That's really the important thing. But missing out on that party, I mean, the night before.
It's where my singlet is.
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I think the gym and the billboard, and then just being at, literally being at Tanner's house is going to be cool.
And you've been to all those places, eh, Kaden?
Yep. Every single one of them multiple times my whole entire life.
All right. Well, let's do something that, we're going to bring back something from the older episodes. This is going to be a callback. It's been a while since we've done it. But I think we're ready to bring it back. I think we should rate last week's episode.
Oh yeah, we should bring that out of the archive.
Yeah, we'll definitely bring that out of the Disney vault. I got to be upfront. I've already told you guys I've been at a work resort. I haven't been driving. I have not had a minute's time alone to myself since Tuesday morning. So I tried listening to the podcast, but I haven't got through it all. With that said, I got through some of it. I think I just got to, was this week the one with Cologne, or was that the last week?
Either way, we'll run with it. I think it was this. That's,
you know what? I think
it all sounds the same.
So. Yeah, it all sounds the same. That's what I was about to say. So this is
this was the all sounds the same episode. So that's what I'm going to think of it.
Yes. As. Thank you for explaining the joke.
Damn it.
You're my favorite, man. I love you.
I try.
I'm going to give it, from what I have listened to, 5 JD Powers.
There you go.
I think that's a fair rating.
What about you, Mr. Kaden? What's your opinion? I'm assuming I know you listen to the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. You said that's the first one you listen to each week. Do you find time to fit in the other podcasts? Our sister podcast? Do you find time to listen to them?
Our sister.
I do listen to the podcast. Most of the time, it kind of, for me, I hear Tanner and Tommy talk quite a bit, but I do enjoy listening to the podcast for background noise, and then just depending on the guest, I then pay a little bit more attention, or if I hear my name. This week's episode, it was pretty good. Like Joey said, it's kind of, what is that, 3 females in a row, so it's same sort of premise each time, but nonetheless, I would say I would probably still give it 5 JDs.
A good score. That's a good average. So
Fair. It's fair.
I to harken back to what we were talking about earlier, the whole, why does all music that you don't sound that you don't like sound the same? Like that that stuck out to me. I even used that joke in like my real life later that week, or I think I referenced it. I don't remember. I was talking to my physical therapist, and he is always bitching about music because it all sounds the same. So I was just like, I literally the podcast I listened to literally talked about you essentially, 2 days ago. So I got a kick out of that. They always have good interviews. So, I guess I'll have to go ahead and give it a 5 out of 5 this week.
Now, that's a good rating, but there's something I want to point out. When Tanner brings up something out of the blue like this, okay, it's all sounds the same. In my head, I am fairly convinced that something else is coming. So it's either going to be a reference to a new product, it's going to be a reference to a post he's going to do, it's a reference to a new running joke that we're always going to be going to, but something in my head is telling me, you watch out for this, it all sounds the same. This is not the end of it. And I hate that I have to do that, and it sounds like Massenomics Conspiracy Theories, right? We're all going to go drink the sparkling Kool-Aid. So, but yeah, you mark my words. I've called it now twice. Oh, we got to talk about that.
Yeah. Did you actually? So you mentioned that, and I know you. The Lindsay one we talked about.
I said we should.
We talked about American Gladiators, but did you actually say Nitro specifically, or
no?
mentioned.
I said we got to get Lindsay on the podcast, and then they announced next week Lindsay on the podcast.
Yeah, I remember that.
We brought up the American Gladiators thing, so technically it wasn't me that brought it up; it was Dodds. But I was like, no, I've been thinking about this. This is my next. This is my silly question of the day.
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
Then suddenly they announced that Nitro's going to be on. So I'm just do we got to watch out who we bring up now, and just try and keep track. Like, did Joey call it? And it's also really funny because I don't know anybody. So if I bring stuff, go ahead.
The pool of people that versus people that they might get on the podcast, it's like 7 fucking people. So
it's not like a great diagram.
It's funny.
I did message one of the hosts about Big Mike Van Wyck, and I know this is the second time I brought that guy up. I love the dude from what I know, and then I was just like, so does nobody know who this guy is because he's an asshole? Like I need to know why nobody knows who he is. He's got like 1 million followers. He's a big giant dude. He makes really great content that is right up my alley. And I was just like, is this one of those guy who should not be named names where the reason nobody cares is because he's a jerk? And one of the hosts was just like, actually, no, we just haven't crossed paths yet. So now I wonder if Big Mike Van Wyck will be on the podcast next.
We'll keep an eye out for sure. So I did get my singlet in, Joey. I know you're anxiously waiting to try yours on. I did some posing for it. I had a Instagram version and then a Discord version, and one of the Matts had some fun with that picture and ran with it. So that was pretty amusing. I like that the legs are good and short. It fits good overall. I probably could have gone a 3X. I think I'm like the top end weight of what the 2X was. But I was like, do I really need a 3X? Because my other singlet's like a medium. It's just how crazy sizing is in different singlets. The only thing I'll mention, if you have big quads and it's a tight singlet already, you are going to like basically expand the elastic, and it's going to like start. It's still going to be fully functional. You're just going to fucking like the threads are going to start popping. Like I popped like almost all the if there's 1,000 threads, I popped like 100 of them. So it'll be fine. But there's definitely going to be some threads that you got to like cut off with some scissors if you do some air squats in it.
I'll be fine. All my muscles are in my hamstrings and posterior.
Gotcha.
I can't squat shit. Kate, did you get that? Did you get that singlet?
I was bent up on getting it, but I had just my first powerlifting meet I actually got the old Massenomics singlet with my name on it. So I'm going to be sticking with that one.
Yeah, I think that's a smart call just for finances for sure.
Yeah. And it's like, how many singlets do you need for one singular powerlifting meet?
Mm-hmm. All right. We got just basically the one last thing I'm just going to touch base on is this is the episode that'll come out the week of the meet. So the whole interview we're talking about with Kaden here coming up will be the podcast a lot of people might be listening to why they travel. So enjoy, guys. We're going to hit a little sponsor read and then see if we can get our guest on the phone. So Big Kaden had something special for us. If he wants to lead that off.
So I got permission from the higher ups to do this. This week's podcast is brought to you by Massenomics Gym, where they're going to be running a special for all crew members the day before or the day of the meet or the day after the meet. You get one free entry into the gym to look around. If you touch anything, then or try and lift at all, I think then you would have to pay. But otherwise, just checking it out, you're free to go in, and that's straight from the higher ups. So thank you, Massenomics Gym.
Except for that weekend, it's going to be Museumonics. Don't touch anything.
Yep. He's getting it cleaned on Thursday. I think I heard, or Wednesday maybe. He was getting it spick and span for us all. So to keep an eye out for that.
Good attitude. Thanks, Kaden. All right, let's get our guest on the horn.
Yeah, we got let's see if we can get Big Kaden on the line here.
All right, Big Kaden, is that you?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, buddy.
You are live on the Unpaid and Underrated podcast, the Crewcast, for crew by crew. How's it feel?
Good.
How's it feeling so far?
Good. I'm really enjoying it. Listening to the podcast, I was getting really excited to get on, and I know one of the hosts from the sister podcast told me about it, that eventually you guys would want to be talking to some crew members / gym goers of Massenomics Gym. So I was excited to eventually get the call or text message from Big Keith, I believe, and getting on here. So it's an exciting time.
Now, one of the things that I think I want to start doing when we interview people is I want you to describe in detail your Discord name, and if you can, your Discord avatar.
Oh, geez. So I think off the top of my head, my Discord name is just Big Kaden, I believe. Or is it? It might actually be my gamer tag.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Blaze? Or no, it's just.
Is it Orange Glaze? No, you are Kaden J 9600.
Okay, yeah. My name on Discord, that is literally just like my Snapchat, and I kind of just, it's my first name, my last initial, and then 96 was my old 8th grade football number. And then 00 was just Kaden J 96 on Snapchat was taken, so I think I just put 00 at the end, and then that became my name for everything. And then my picture, it's the buff frog with abs. I think I can't even tell you a story on how I found that. I think it was just a meme that was floating around in one of my group chats, and I screenshotted it, and I was like, you know what? This is a really good Discord profile photo. So I switched it to that quite a while ago, I believe.
Yeah, we don't like when people change things.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know who we're talking about. But actually, one of the good calls I think is I want to start asking that thing, because sometimes we get people on and we're just there's a certain usual suspects in the Discord, right? I don't know how else to describe it, but like the people that talk the most.
Yep.
So we know most of us. But somebody maybe like Kaden, like yourself, who just isn't as vocal in the Discord, and you're probably reading, but you're not always contributing. I think it's important that we start asking, just so we know, so you know, when you see this person, this is the person that was on the Crewcast.
Yep. And another thing we're going to do that in addition to that, to just make it easier for everyone to find everyone, is go to your show notes. There's going to be a link to everyone's social medias right there. You don't have to go to the website or anything and then like do a bunch of. We're trying to make it where it's just one step and you can click on a crew's Instagram, and like there's no reason that we're not all following each other on there. So get on that. Nate tediously went back and added all the previous guest Instagrams to the show notes. So just go to wherever you find your podcast. Bring up all the old episodes. Anyone you want to go find, which should be everyone, because we're all crew. So if you don't like anyone, that's a you problem, not a crew problem. So go follow each other and let's grow this circle, guys.
Let's grow this circle. So Kaden, I gotta tell you, this next question is one we've been asking everybody, and I'm fairly positive I know the answer. What brought you to Massenomics podcast and crew? Could it happen to be where you work out?
That plays a part in it, you could say. I think Tanner just got sick of me listening to the podcast, and so giving me crap down in the gym, and I was like, you know what? If I join crew, then he can't give me crap. So I joined up and now in on all the Silly Goose times. The big thing was Big Mason, my lifting partner. He was a crew member and we did a strong man together. And the two hosts did this was relatively new segment at the time. They did supporting members, and they brought Mason up, but they didn't bring me up. And I was like, okay, I've had enough. I'm gonna.
That's awesome.
I will sign up.
That is hysterical. I love that. I love that. I could see Tanner doing that just to get a dig in to like just kind of help motivate you to join.
Yeah,
that is great. I love that.
So that brings up. I highlighted the next question I want to ask you then, because this does come from the host you just spoke about.
Oh, geez.
Who's gonna bench more, you or Massenomics? At the meet.
I
understand you two have a bit of a rivalry.
Yep, in the gym there's a big rivalry. And I believe at the last meet I think we ended up tying, but
who got it first? There's no tying in powerlifting. Whoever got it first, or well, I guess it's whoever had the lower body weight, really, at that rate.
So if we're going by body weight, obviously I win. You guys will meet him, and he makes me. I love him to death. He makes me look small, and I don't like it. Because I like being the big guy.
We heard that about you. A few people mentioned something to that extent.
But at the meet, it'll be close. My bench kind of took a hit. I had a little surgery and wasn't able to hit upper body for a while, and he's just a naturally good bencher, and I guess so am I. But it'll be a close one. I'm thinking I'll probably squeak him out by 2 kilos or so.
Just let him go first and then mess around and add like a microplate. That's smart. Yep. That's smart.
And the meet will be in kilos. There was some confusion in the Discord because everyone knows that we're using the Strength Co pound plates to warm up, but we're using Big Dave's equipment on the platform. So combo rack, Texas bars, Texas combo rack, all calibrated kilo plates. So make sure everyone doing the meet has all their attempts in kilos ready to go and knows their kilo conversion or prints one off or screen saves one.
And speaking of getting strong, Tanner also wanted me to ask you, or one of us to ask you at least, what piece of equipment is the gym missing that if you think they got, you could finally get strong?
Oh my gosh. I've been asking myself this question for quite a while now. The one thing, missing, buddy? One thing I do want is 45-degree back raise, a newer one, because the one we got now is small, and I'm a big guy, and we call that the nut crusher because you just crush them in it. So I would like a new 45-degree back raise, and then I think we would actually get strong down there and have a chance at this powerlifting meet.
Now, how to like, is there a suggestion box, or does everyone just DM the Massenomics gym page, or how do people, or is it just like, can one of the hosts actually get a workout without people bugging him about like this equipment this or this equipment that, or the bathroom's out of toilet paper because some asshole stole it?
Usually, so we kind of have like our set times to go down, and we all kind of see each other. So, like if I'm ever lifting with one of the hosts, I tell them. Usually, I bring up something, or we're talking about some sort of piece of equipment that he has gotten or planning on getting, and you do it that way. I do know that we do need some Febreze in the bathroom before everyone shows up. So if he would want to get onto that would be awesome.
He is, a loyal listener. So he might be, it'll probably be a busy week next week, but hopefully he's able to squeeze us in. So while we're still in the gym, this was one of my questions I always like to ask anyone in the gym world. What is your favorite piece of equipment that is in the gym, or a bar, equipment, anything? What's your like one thing that you like couldn't live without being there? Or the most sentimental thing to you, I guess. Whatever, just however you want to answer.
So, like, the most sentimental piece down in Massenomics gym, for me, would probably be the Elite FTS competition benches. I think that was the first time that down there was the first time I benched 315 on there and 405. I benched 405 on the Ghost Rack, but I've hit a lot of big lifts on those. Like newer pieces of equipment that I love and can't live without is the Rogue Reverse Hyper, and I think I played a big factor in getting that because I bugged him a lot.
Did we get the Reverse Hyper to get the donkey that has the GHR on it too? Is it the combo?
No, so we got just the plain Reverse Hyper, and then we got the GHR on the side.
Oh, that's
next
right.
to it.
Yeah. I remember that because last summer, right? So
is that a GHR or a GHD?
One of the that's a big topic of debate.
I call it GHR.
I know
that's what I call. I don't want to start no controversy. I just think that's the right way.
So what's it like training down there in general? From what I've been told, you're only 22 years old, and I look back on your Instagram, and you were lifting there in like 2018, 2017. So were you in high school when you started lifting there, or just out of?
Yep. So I think I started it would have been like my sophomore year of high school. I knew I started when we moved down to the location we're at now. I didn't lift at Gym 1.0. Didn't have the chance to get down there, but what actually got me down to the gym was I knew all the guys, or majority knew of them. They probably didn't know me. I was like the annoying kid at the Y. Mm-hmm. But big Mount Rossmore, Big Ross, he actually was at the Y for something for his kids, and I was upstairs lifting, and he got to talking to me. He's like, "You need to come down to the gym." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that would be awesome." So my summertime lifting, training for football and wrestling, I would lift down there, and I got really strong. Enjoyed it. Learned a lot from all the guys. They don't talk about sets and reps all that often on the podcast, but they do know their stuff when it comes to lifting weights. And then after my freshman year of college, I stopped playing football, and I kind of just became a full head, or a full like meathead down in the gym. Like that's my life now. All I do is work and lift. So became like one of the crew down in the gym. At first I probably annoyed the shit out of all of them. I was like the teenage kid, that ego lifting and whatnot, but now I get along with all the guys great. They're some of my good buddies. It's kind of weird being 22 years old and all my friends are like 35 and up. Larry's 47 and are going to be 47 or 46. Can't remember. He's so old. But I have a good time down there with them.
Ow.
That's awesome.
So,
Yeah, no.
so that's interesting. You know, yeah, you know what? Take over for me, Keith. I don't like that question.
Which, oh, yeah, sure. All right, so let's
Is that
talk.
the one you were about to ask?
No. It was on the next page, so like my eyes had to like I had to like figure out what you were talking
Okay.
about for a second. Okay, so tell me about Hell Yeah Brother, the Instagram.
Oh,
Do you run that, or is one of the other guys run it? I know we're mutual friends on there. I think you guys just
yep.
started following my gym actually. Is that you and a couple of the crew guys down there?
So that is Big Justin. He's a part of like we all get together, try Saturday mornings. He's a part of like our big Saturday and Sunday morning crew. We all lift together. I think he started it because he was against the idea of Juggernaut when I got on Juggernaut, and then so he kind of created his own Hell Yeah Brother program, and really it's just kind of like showing off our lifts and doing silly goose stuff on there. Also, it's him and Larry Legend. They get a kick out of it, you know. I enjoy it too. I actually just got my Hell Yeah Brother shirt.
Nice.
Big Justin, he did the first run, and he got a couple for some of the guys, and then I didn't get one, and I was like, you need to get me one. And I asked him how much it was for it, and he said free 99. So
Hey, there you go.
I'll take a black shirt for free when I can get one.
As long as it can come in any color, as long as it's black, right?
Yep.
So I think you and I are kind of kindred spirits from what I saw. I saw a few different numbers on your page for football, but one that I saw the most repetitive was 73. Was that your main number through high school?
Yep. So that was
okay.
my sophomore year. I was 72, and then 73 was I got it my junior year, and one of my best buddies, he graduated, so I took it over, and it was a long line because his older brother had it, and then he had it, and then I got it, and then their little brother got it. So it was pretty cool. 73. I don't know why I picked. Actually, I do know Joe Thomas. I'm big.
Yeah.
I love Joe Thomas. Even though I didn't in high school, I didn't even play O-line all that much except for my senior year. I was a defensive guy.
Gotcha. I only brought that up because I also in my second string and JV All Star, playing days, I was 73. And yeah, big fan of Joe Thomas. I think he came after my playing days by quite a few years. But the ironic thing with me wearing number 73 is I lived on the street that I lived on. It was more of a road. I didn't live on a street. I lived like on a mountain road. Was Route 73. So I always thought I always got a kick out of telling people I live on 73 and my number is 73. So that is my 73 question. And Joey's still typing away. So
yeah,
let's see.
I have zero preparation for today. Like,
no, I know.
I kind of mentioned that. I really wish I had seen some of this stuff.
He's deleting all my notes.
Yeah, but then I'm adding them. Look down at
the
overrated, underrated.
Yep. Oh, okay.
So, Kaden, get ready. You're probably going to have the longest overrated, underrated as the only person from Aberdeen that we've interviewed.
Yeah,
you have quite a few ready for you. Maybe we'll remove some, maybe we won't, but I don't think 6 is going to be your limit today.
Okay.
So you are I hear you're currently a landscaper and a meathead, right? And that's basically your full-time gig, but you have aspirations of being a police officer possibly down the road?
I do. So right now I fertilize lawns. I do lawn care. We handle on the chemical side, making lawns look good. I actually just had my interview at the department today. I took a test on Monday, so did good on that. Got the interview, and then I was supposed to get either a call tonight or tomorrow sometime to let me know if I get to keep moving forward in the hiring process. So that's pretty exciting. It was super stressful with my back going out on Saturday and trying to schedule a chiropractor appointment, having the testing, doing this podcast and my interview. It was a pretty stressful week, but now that I'm sitting here, I feel really good. I'm ready for a good day of work tomorrow, and then good last 2 days last weekend of good lifting with the boys, and then get to hang out with all you guys next weekend, which is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I really don't want you to stress about this at all. Like this is I want this to be the least stressful interview podcast for anybody. But if you get that call, take it while we're recording so that we can be the first to congratulate you. Just want you to like that should not your excitement for that should preempt us at
Thank you.
any time of the week. So sometimes we get a piece of information that I can cling to. So I understand that you are a Star Wars fan.
I am a giant Star Wars fan. I don't know. I got Funko Pops up there, and the bookshelves behind me are all Legos, Star Wars Lego sets, Batman, big into Marvel also, but I love Star Wars. I love Anakin Skywalker. Spider-Man, I am super big into Spider-Man right now.
Yeah, I always grew up as a kid. I got a Spider-Man tattoo when I was working a factory job because they'd always put me on the roof of the ladder.
Yep.
And then I was just like, what am I, Spider-Man to you? And then I just went and got the tattoo.
Yeah.
But yeah, so also a big fan of Star Wars, right? I'm more of a Star Trek fan, but I think I watch Star Wars more often just because it's more visually appealing. Also a Marvel fan, also DC fan. So I don't know how much I can ask you about that, but you already said you love Anakin.
I do love Anakin. Is probably my favorite character of all time in any movie. His story is just the best.
Like child Anakin or Hayden Christensen Anakin, or like the cartoon. Is Anakin in a character in a bunch of the other like cartoon spinoffs and stuff?
The Clone Wars. The Clone Wars. Just like Clone Wars, Revenge of the Sith, Hayden Christensen is awesome. Just seeing him transform into Darth Vader and
spoiler alert.
Sorry, Tommy. I don't know.
Someone's gonna be completely like flabbergasted that you spoiled that for everyone.
But
sorry, go ahead.
Wait till you find out who his kids are.
Yeah.
You're my sister. That actually was relevant today because the sister podcast and Luke and Leia are brother and sister. It's fun adjacent.
So let's chat for a brief second regarding strength and power. I'm going to say something to you. It's probably going to trigger an eye twitch for you, Kaden.
Okay.
I just drew a blank on his name, and that's not good.
Mason.
No, from Star Wars.
Oh, I thought you were talking about that at the gym.
In the new Star Wars.
Yep.
What was his name again?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. Yeah. Kylo Ren.
Adam Driver.
Driver. Okay. Why not? I was going to call him Ray, not Ren. I actually think Kylo Ren is a more powerful Jedi than Darth Vader was. Only because we hadn't seen Obi-Wan yet. And in Obi-Wan, they showed Darth Vader's true power, but up until Obi-Wan, we saw Kylo Ren's true power when he had the guy in the chokehold while stopping laser bullets. Nobody had ever done anything like that, except for maybe Luke pulling the thing out of the water with or Yoda pulling his thing out of the water, because Yoda's always also very powerful. But I think up until Obi-Wan, Kylo Ren was portrayed as more powerful than Darth Vader ever was.
Right when you said that, I kind of got triggered a little bit, but then you explained it so well, and I got to thinking, I was like, yeah, he's right, because I love the Star Wars video games, like Force Unleashed, the old PS2, PS3, and so that's not canon, so it's technically not like the movie Vader. But if you're saying just movies, yes, I would have to agree with that. And then Obi-Wan came out, and he stopped the whole ship. Yeah, with one hand. Throwing those rocks at Obi-Wan, that was awesome. Probably, I don't know if you can hear me. Probably one of the most iconic scenes for me from Obi-Wan was the way they shot him standing there holding the ship. Yep. And that's when I was like, okay, so somebody got mad that Kylo Ren looked more powerful than Darth Vader, so they released this.
All right. Yeah, okay. That's my nerd talk for the one. I know sometimes I go off on tangents and we do wrestling or something crazy like that. I had some Spider-Man questions, but I'm not going to do them.
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Okay. Actually,
No, you can do a couple.
yeah. What do you want to? What I don't have a Spider-Man question now that I've deleted them. How excited? Okay, no, you go. You got something to say.
I was gonna ask you. I know you guys both. Do you guys both dabble in video games a little bit?
I'm like a GTA, Mad, Red Dead Redemption kind of guy. I don't go.
I play about
into others.
I play about 5. The Arkham series.
Yep.
Best video games ever made.
Mm-hmm.
Hands
Batman
down.
is very good.
They still hold up, and they're like 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
God of War.
I love God of War.
Mm-hmm.
I have him tattooed on me.
Of course.
Nice.
Assassin's Creed.
I also have that tattooed on me.
I don't have it tattooed, but it was always a plan of mine. Although I don't really enjoy how they've gone away from the guild.
The Innocent Assassin, yep.
Yeah. And Spider-Man. Those games I will play and Legend of Zelda. I will play those every time they release a new one.
Yep. And so I was going to ask you, are you excited for the new Spider-Man 2?
More than you can ever imagine.
Oh my gosh.
I bought a PS5 for God of War and Spider-Man 2. And I also played Miles Morales on, I think, the PS5 because I waited till I bought that to get it.
Yep. I actually, the trailer came out and I was like, you know what? I haven't played those games in a while, and I decided to go back, and I'm getting the platinum trophy. I already got it for Miles Morales, and I'm currently working on it for Spider-Man Remastered on the PS5 right now. So I'm super excited.
I'm a storyline addict, so I don't generally go. The only ones I've ever done are Arkham City, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham Knight are the only ones that I was like, I'm getting over 100% in trophies.
Yeah.
And those are the only ones. I usually when the game, and Uncharted, I should say too, but with the Uncharted ones, they eventually just got too hard to play. Because I think if they get too hard, I don't want to do it. I want to know the story. I want to play the game. I don't want to be constantly just getting one hit shotted by some end bad guy that's stopping me from progressing in the storyline. So I just go, fuck this, I'm not playing it anymore.
I don't want to go off on a video game tangent, but
let's do it. It's your podcast. It's your podcast. Go.
So, did you play all of God of War Ragnarok?
I played
the newest one.
So I did beat the main storyline, and then I was going around trying to collect things, but then Legend of Zelda came out, and everything goes on hold for Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep. Are you big into like Kratos' lore?
I have played every single God of War since it was released.
Oh, okay. So did you cry at the end of Ragnarok?
Yes.
I will admit I did. I loved it. That was one of the most beautifully designed games ever. The storytelling, Chris Judge as the voice actor of Kratos. I can't remember the original guy, but Chris Judge does a spectacular job playing him.
Yes, he does.
And I'm super excited for whatever they do in the future, whether it be a Kratos game or if they go Atreus route, or they're both in the game again and Atreus is off on that mission and you got to be Kratos and you go and find them. But I love God of War. I love Assassin's Creed.
Add that I have a 4-year-old boy. To that ending of God of War. And I walked. I think my wife was somewhere else and I just walked out and I was like, okay, it got me. Yeah. And she's like, dad feels. I was like, so many dad feels. Yeah. And even watching Kratos go from how he was at the beginning of God of War.
Yep.
And then like watching him become a better father through the 2 games, to the point where if you had watched that scene and not seen the progression, like if they had put that scene at the beginning of the first game, you would have been like, nope, he's a dick to his kid, I don't care. Mm-hmm. But watching the progression of him slowly learning to accommodate and empathize with his son, and then at the end, that scene, that was dad feels all the way, dropped me like a rock. Mm-hmm. And I know not everybody everybody's going to have an emotional reaction. I'm just saying it added a layer for me.
Yep.
Because one day he's not. Anyway.
Don't want to spoil it. Don't want to spoil it too much.
No, I don't want to start crying over my kid. I haven't seen him in 3 days. And then I finally get home. I get a hug and a kiss, and then I have to run out the door and come back just in time for him to go to bed. I miss him. I might go wake him up. Like,
well, speaking of Massenomics Gym, what is the greatest feat of strength you've seen in the gym there, Kaden? Down in the basement there. What's the or heard of? I guess. What's like in the tenure that you've been there? What's the biggest lift or the most impressive lift someone's done?
Man, there's quite a few. Big Ryan's 700-pound deadlift, I think he pulled it, or it might have been a 675, but no, he pulled 700. The 700-pound deadlift was pretty cool. I don't know if the other hosts have talked about Big J, but Big J, he benched 500 pounds down there.
Damn. Raw. That's
Big Matt has a big deadlift, and I watched that.
Nothing's head and shoulders above, because like you sounds like you're just riding a couple horses with one ass there, so nothing's
I
right,
might have to ride the line on this one.
If anyone's gonna bust your balls too hard,
I just don't want to throw the other ones under the bus.
No, you're good. Let's see. So how many members down there actually? So two-part. How many actually listen to the podcast? And then out of that niche group, how many are supporting members? Ish, or at least ones that you know of. I'm just very curious. You can even go percentages. I don't know if it's like 30, 40 members. Like I don't know what the member count total is.
I think we're over 60 right now, actually.
Okay, so out of 60 to 20 people listen to the podcast every week.
I'll be honest, I don't even think it's that high.
Okay, so 10 maybe 10,
maybe 10. I'm thinking around. I know the people that I lift with, they don't. I know Big Mason does. Supporting members, I think maybe around 10, I believe.
Oh, so they're supporting members that don't actively listen or religiously listen.
Yep, and I think a part of that is
good for them. That's good.
A part of that is they've been friends with the other hosts for a long time, so they hear them talk quite a bit. But I'm like, oh man, these guys are so famous, and I know them. I'm friends with both of them. It's awesome. So I always geek out over that.
Nice.
But yeah, I there's never much. We talk about the podcast sometimes down there, but not much going on with that. We're more so we got our own like inside jokes for the gym and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
So the podcast stuff kind of down in the gym anyway. The podcast goes kind of to the back burner a little bit.
That's got to be a lot for the host to keep track of too, because there's like the gym inside jokes, the inside jokes with this clique, the inside jokes with that clique, the podcast inside jokes, the inside jokes with the crew and the Discord. Like that's a lot to juggle.
Yep. I can't even I try and stay I wouldn't say I'm active in the Discord. I try and look at it every day and like see what's going on, but there's always just so much and working. I can't look at it every time there's a message, but I always scroll back, and it's tough for me to even kind of keep up with it. So I can about imagine what the host is going through.
Now, Danny, your other buddy, last. Go ahead, Joe. Okay. So do any other buddies that actually are crew and listen to the podcast, other than you, who else listen to our podcast? Who should we get on the, I mean, I'll get on a handful of guys, even if they're not crew, potentially down the road, just because they're in the gym and shit. But out of who listens to our podcast and would be a good interview, because it's always more fun. Like I don't want to have people on the podcast that don't listen to our podcast. At least not we're out of people.
I think Big Mason will. I know we've talked about it a little bit. He's the one, probably like the outlier. You know, we're both we live together and whatnot, and so we talk about it more so than everyone else. He would be
Adam to the
like
list.
Yep, I'm fire, he's ice. So We're kind of a little opposite. I don't know. He would do a good podcast. He's a very, very funny man.
Should we get Larry on?
Absolutely. It's just a matter of him being able to set this up.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
Someone have to do that in person for him.
Yeah, we'll tag some friends in on that one, I think.
And well, what's nice is I literally live a block away from Larry. So
okay. No, that helps.
Otherwise, Big Ryan would be awesome.
So
maybe like some of the older guys that have been there longer than me, like Mount Rossmore or
that's such a great name.
Sergeant Anderson.
Mount Rossmore is such a great name. That's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah, you guys are clever down there. I what I was going to say earlier, honestly, was just having not been able to look at my phone for roughly 2.5 days. I'm lost at what's going on in the Discord. Utterly lost. And
yeah,
you're not the only one, man. I'm used to having my druthers to look at my phone whenever I see fit.
Mm-hmm.
But doing what I was doing, I know I'm going to be here and present and learn. And I just opened up my phone. I left. So I left the training, and the drive home, I guess there was an accident on the highway. The drive home went from 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And I was like, nah, forget that. I need to eat before I record. So I pulled over to eat, and I pulled up in Discord, and I started trying to read back. And I was like, you know what? I just don't need to know any of this. So I just marked everything as read. It's like, I don't have this time. Who's got the time?
Mm-hmm.
One thing while we're talking about social media real quick, Joey and I'll talk about this off air at some point, I'm sure. But I think next week, keep an eye out for the stories on the unrated and keep an eye out on our stories while we're at the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think we might have some lives. Like I envision getting the log in and doing some lives maybe Thursday and Friday before Joey gets there. Just because when else are we going to have an opportunity to have 30 crew together?
Yeah.
And, if anyone's anticipating a in-person podcast, that ain't happening, guys. We're not.
We don't have the.
I'm spending thousands. We're all spending thousands of dollars to get there to do a meet, not to do a podcast. But we can go Instagram lives and get some random videos and some podcast clips. But anyone listening that's there, come up to us. You obviously know who Joey and I are. We'll get you on our stories, and we'll do something funny with that. So not sure what we're going to do, but I think we can invest an hour of time into that.
I'd like to think one of the benefits we have over our sister podcast is we don't have a brand adherence. So they have to do what is best for their brand. And that's like, I know it's all fun and games and silly goose times and chats and all that. But ultimately, that's their goal. Their goal is the Massenomics brand. We don't have that.
No, we can be art.
we can literally just do what we want when we want, as long as it doesn't affect their brand, but we don't have to stay on brand. So I think that going live, taking some stupid photos, as long as there's no, nudity or anything stupid in it, like I think they're gonna have a lot of good posts, but I think we will ultimately have some of the sillier, more personal stuff. And that's not to say they're not going to have any of that. I just think sometimes I feel like we have a little more freedom to do the crew stuff. Also, we don't follow them on Instagram, so I'm not even going to see any of their stuff all week.
Dude, when speaking of like how we don't really have any restrictors, Big Matt's video meme, and with Jen and the crew, and then the fact that she posted it to Instagram, I was surprised because I was like, that was so vulgar that like I wouldn't want that. I'd be hard pressed to put that on my like personal bag. I would, but I've got family friends that don't want to see, what was it, like cum guzzler or something like that, whatever the fuck it was. Like it was so, I can't remember the exact. It was bad though. It was.
But there's context. Because in that thing,
I get it.
In that skit, the guy's like crying because you said I could swear. And he just drops the worst stuff, the grossest, worst stuff. And they're like, you can swear, just not that way.
Yeah.
And I do think that a couple guests were like, yeah, you can swear on here. And a couple of them have just gone on tangents like that are worse than Letterkenny. Like you're just like, I said you could swear, maybe calm down. So it's actually funny that that Big Mac caught that. Did you see that one, Kaden?
I did not.
No. It's on our
Yeah,
Instagram, so it's on the podcast Instagram, and it's on the Discord and Jen's Instagram.
okay. I'll have to check that out.
Big. Actually, while I'm here, I just want to take a second to let everybody know. We had during the planning of this podcast, we had a series of us that we were just kept putting it out there. We're going to do things. We're going to do things. We're going to do things, and then eventually we created our own separate chat to what we call the Founding Fathers of Unpaid and Underrated. And I want to say that with all of Jen's help, we have now actually just officially recognized her as a founding parent, father, mother, whatever she wants to be called. So we have let her into the secret backroom chat where all the decisions about this podcast are made. And I just want to congratulate her and say, honestly, again, just a big thank you.
Dead air. No, we appreciate everyone that has been a part of that, and I'd love to see our little niche circle grow and people that like this is not easy. Like, I mean, it's easy and it's fun, but like I spend at least an hour and a half, 2 hours throughout the week helping build these show notes. Especially this week because Joey was out of town. Like 90%, 99% of this is like shit that I pulled in. Yeah. So when I put in the Discord, hey, ask, if you have a question for so and so, like, flood my inbox, like, please, like, the more the merrier. I might only use 30% of it because a lot of it's repetitive. It's not that your question's stupid. It's just everyone fucking asks all the low hanging fruit. So
hey, did you know Scance is old?
Yeah, and short. Like, think outside the box. Like I can spitball and come up with 50% of an episode, but like it does help if you guys can give us, and then we'll try to name drop you when we can. But anything you guys can do to help us, would appreciate that. Throw it into Joey's Instagram, my Instagram, the show Instagram, DM, whatever. But we need help each week, especially as we're getting into these guests that we might not know as well. Maybe there's a guest next week that I don't know and Joey doesn't know, but you know very well. So help us out.
Kaden, is there anybody, and I don't like to normally do this type of like compare people, but is there anybody you're really excited to meet? Or you can just say everybody if this is an off kilter question.
For me, it'll be Dan Bell. I think that will be awesome.
Yep. I forgot he's going to be there.
Yeah, he's not going to be lifting, but he will be there, guys. That from what we've heard as of like a couple days ago, Tanner confirmed that.
Yep.
One of the hosts.
But of course, all the crew get to see the other host again. I haven't seen him in a while, so that'll be fun. But yeah, it's gonna be a good time. I strongly believe it will be a very fun weekend.
I agree.
Well, do we want to get into the silly question of the week, guys? I think we've exhausted about everything that we needed to get through for the main guest interview. All right. Not really sure how we're going to do if we're sticking with Nate's or
no.
You thought of one.
No, I didn't like that you knew what was coming.
I didn't either. Well, because I saw Nate's list and I was like, I was reading through them. I was over analyzing all of them and like trying to come up with an answer.
I hate that.
They all can work. They're all like, none of them are bad, but they're all just like me knowing them. Like when 75% of the it's better when only one person knows, and then I'm answering and the guest is answering, and then you can still give your 2 cents. But
I guess I accidentally highlighted it in the notes, and that showed you what I was gonna. No, I actually added it.
No, you copy and pasted it as I was still.
And then as soon as you gave me the answer off to the side, I was like, I'm not using that now. Like, no, that's ridiculous. You can't see this coming. Sometimes these are just me finding out silly things. And sometimes they're just, I want to ask a silly question. So this one actually I came up with, but I ended up getting it vetted through my WAV. So what kids show theme song from your childhood do you remember the most?
There's so many.
Well, it's the first one. That's actually the way I worded it was what like when I asked that question, what comes up? What was your...
Hey dude on Nickelodeon, like, or no, not no, the Camp Nowhere, was that one? Oh no, that was the fucking, I can't, like, it's bad. Like, I can think of the show. It's like one of the
Kaden, what do you got?
Yeah.
It would be this one. I thought of Spider-Man, and I thought that was like okay.
No,
but,
hold on. Which Spider-Man? Because you would be the age of the metal, right? Like
That's a good one.
you would be the animated series, right?
I actually had all the old ones burned on a DVD disc, and it's the Spider-Man.
Yep.
Spider-Man.
The
That
60s one. Terrible show.
I like as a kid. I haven't watched it in a long time. I like the kids. If
you don't contribute nostalgia, like if you I'm not a nostalgic person. I don't think those stand up. I think it's just not a great show. The animation was terrible. The storylines were janky. So, but like as a kid, it was the best. It was the greatest thing because I'm also 15 to 20 years older than you. So.
But the other one I thought of was the show was called Jessie on Disney. I can't remember what Disney it was. But it was like, hey Jesse, do it feels like a party every day. That one.
I don't know that one. I don't know that one.
That was like, I don't know, probably when I was like 10 or something like that, and it was on Disney Channel. So
you answered my follow-up was, could you sing or recite it right now if I asked? And you did, though. You did.
Just a little bit.
No, that's dope. Keith, what was, when I asked it, like what came to mind?
Well, there was a couple that like I used to watch. So the one that that's harkened back and is sticking out now more better Saved by the Bell. When you wake up in the morning and you're something, it's all right because it's Saved by the Bell. I don't know.
Okay, no. Now that you sang it, now I remember it.
I watched that one. Stuck out a lot. Like because like the ones I was trying to think of, I couldn't even think of the show title. So like I can't those don't count if I can't think of the show title. So that or like Simpsons, but Simpsons is like, I mean, I guess it was a kid's show, but not really. Like I watched it as a kid, so
that explains a lot. Yeah, so that stems interestingly when I said the Spider-Man theme, I actually sang the X-Men theme. That was not the Spider-Man theme, and then as soon as I started doing it, I remembered that was it, and it would be that one and the Power Rangers theme.
Ooh, yeah, Power Rangers.
Yeah, and today I learned they were written by the same person, and that is why X-Men and Power Rangers had like crazy speed metal intros. Because they were a speed metal, right? And
yeah.
But no, the Spider-Man show was actually it was more of a techno, the Spider-Man. Yeah. So
I can't remember I watched all those animated ones. And speaking of that too, did you see that? I mean, it's probably been out for a couple of years that they're still working on it, but they're bringing back the animated X-Men. Like I think they're calling it like X-Men 97 or something, right? But it's I don't know when that's actually coming out, but I'm actually probably going to go read because that was like my child. That was like, age like 8 to 12 or something for me. Like I watched the shit out of that. And the same time that the Spider-Man was out.
I tried watching it again because it is on Disney Plus up here. And it's just, again, it doesn't hold up. As an almost 40-year-old person who has now seen Logan and Deadpool and X-Men movies, which solid argument were kind of terrible. I don't think the show just doesn't hold up. The animation's bad. Wolverine's voice is all like, why are you like that? So
speaking of Wolverine, it's like, so you've all seen the memes where Wolverine's mask is really just two Batmans kissing, or like, is that like, so is that just in the meme or is that real? Cause like every time I Google it, it comes up that way. But like, if you were to actually just like pause the show, is it really that, or is it like everyone just fucking with us and you can't really? It's really not the two Batmans like nose to nose.
I don't think it was close enough, but from any perspective, I think you could see it that way because I'm drawing it right now. But speaking of that, you guys have all seen the Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds picture. Where Hugh Jackman is wearing the real.
He's got yellow. He just doesn't have the face on.
It's
not the mask, but
I wish they had never released that. I genuinely like the internet is ruining so much fun right now. Imagine you're at, okay. Kaden, you might be a little young for this one. Did either of you guys go and see the X-Men movies in theaters?
If not theaters, I've definitely watched them all. Like I
Yeah.
owned them all as a
All right,
young adult.
so I did. And this was, of course, before internet spoilers. So in the first movie, okay, except for the little cage match, Wolverine was a bitch. He got knocked around. He didn't do anything. He kind of sucked. So then in the first 10 minutes of the second movie, he finally kills somebody on screen. Some random foot soldier. Can I tell you that everybody in that theater cheered? And it wasn't like one person started and everybody followed suit. As soon as it happened, and he's got his claws in the guy and he's screaming in the guy's face because that's the Wolverine we all wanted to see. All of us just exploded. Imagine if we had been in the Deadpool movie, not knowing what we're going to see, and the yellow and blue Wolverine walks out with Hugh Jackman. Imagine that reaction. But now we've all seen it. And the internet has ruined it for us. So I think that took a little bit away from. That's not to say Deadpool isn't going to give us some surprises, right? I trust that Ryan Reynolds is going to make a good movie because he's made two freaking amazing ones. But that little thing, I wish I hadn't seen. That's all I'm saying. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's funny because historically he's never been in Hugh Jackman's never been in yellow that I can recall. They even make a jab at it in one of the movies when they first put on the pleather Xavier suits, and he's like, "What'd you expect? Yellow tights?"
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone watched the cartoon, got a kick out of that. But I'm curious if it's going to be in the trailer or if it was just a leaked photo that wasn't supposed to get out.
I think it was an officially leaked photo, which is kind of obnoxious.
Yeah,
Kaden, we're talking your wheelhouse here. Any thoughts? What's your favorite Marvel movie?
My favorite Marvel movie, it would be probably Thor Ragnarok.
I like it. Good choice.
As for Infinity War also, if you put all of them together, I love Infinity War, the fight scene in Wakanda.
It's phase 3, right? Is it the end of phase 3 or the end of phase 4?
It actually might be. Is it the end of phase 2 and then the end of phase 3 was Endgame? Because phase 4 is going on right now, is it not?
I can tell you in a few minutes, but keep talking.
I loved Thor Ragnarok. Was awesome. I thought Love and Thunder was terrible. Did not like it at all. They kind of made Thor a bitch. Otherwise, all the Captain Americas I enjoy, all the Iron Man. They're all literally every Marvel movie I love, to be honest with you.
I love their portrayal of Captain America, because they essentially gave they picked and chose different versions, and they chose the Ultimates version of him. And so if you guys aren't familiar, Keith, you might not be, there was this series called Marvel Ultimate. Okay. And it was like a revamp, but it was directed to young and older adults, not kids. So that version of Captain America is the one that I think they chose for the movies. That's why the Spider-Man that we're getting from Tom Holland right now, I think, is Ultimate Spider-Man as well.
So do I.
And that's the Captain America they chose, and I'm so happy they did. There's a scene in the Ultimates. I'm glad they didn't choose the Hulk from the Ultimates, because he was a raping cannibal.
Jesus, that's not good. I thought She-Hulk was bad. That sounds really bad.
Ultimately, if you look at what the Hulk is, it made sense, right? Because when you have that unlimited power and strength, one wrong thing can turn you the wrong way.
Well, and your brain's completely altered. It's not like it's you in there. There's no way you can scientifically be completely a mutant and still have all your core values not be altered in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, he's not a hero in the Ultimates. And actually, neither is Ant-Man. And I think there's a really good scene where Steve Rogers finds out that Steve Rogers is the only one they didn't really mess with, but he finds out that Ant-Man was being abusive to his wife and beats the shit out of him. just pummels him. And as he's walking away, goes, "How big do you feel now?" And like that's the Steve Rogers we got in the movies. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy we got that one. Told you I'm a bit of a nerd. And I was like, I don't have much for you, but like, oh yeah, I'll go off all day.
I watched Guardians 3 a couple days ago, and I watched The Flash in the last week or two too.
I haven't seen either. It's too early for spoilers.
Yeah, no. I just both of them were enjoyable. I like them both for sure.
Yeah.
But they were definitely better than what else did I see recently? Shazam 2 was pretty shitty. And,
it was terrible, eh?
Yeah, and what else did I watch? I watched the third Ant-Man 2. That was very not great.
It was very pretty.
Yeah, it was animated as shit. I don't think there was hardly any like reals. There was like, I think it was like 90, it had to be like 90% green screen.
Well, and that's a thing going on, Kaden. You were correct. We are currently in phase 4.
Yep.
And it's somebody pointed out that it's been a couple years since any Marvel actors reacted to other actors. Because right now, everything they're reacting to is green screen and CGI.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what Ant-Man was. It was nice, but like, is that going to stand out? No, it's not going to be a great one. Anyway, we have this game we like to play. That we try and play with all of our guests, apparently after talking their ears off about Marvel. It's called Overrated, Underrated. I hope you're familiar with it.
I think I've heard of it before.
Okay, well, essentially what's going to happen is we have a list of hand-picked questions just for you.
Okay.
You have to pick whether they are overrated or underrated, but ultimately you have to choose one. You cannot ride the line. You have your druthers to discuss it, go back and forth, whatever you want to do. But I'm hoping that some of these are actually going to be really funny because I ain't swinging too good on some of these. Keith, I'm going to let you do. I think we should do all of them. Normally, we like to pick the 6, but those last 3 I did. I think we're gonna. I do want to include.
No, the couple that when I saw you added a couple of them, I was like, oh, that's relevant and it's funny, so that works. So familiar with the game, can't ride a horse, 2 asses, etc. 2 horses, 1 ass. I always say it backwards, and I'm like double thinking, like, did I say it wrong? Yeah, probably. But nonetheless, you know how to play. Use your druthers. It's not if you personally think it's overrated or underrated. It's look at the world's perception of it, and then incorporate all that jazz from there. So number 1, this was I asked several people information on you, and I got limited from some people and a lot from others. This one particular item came up about 3 or 4 different times. So I pretty much know what your answer is going to be, but let's go ahead and get it out of the way. Big Kaden, overrated or underrated? Twisted Tea.
Oh, man. Obviously underrated. I love a good twisted tea every now and again. As for my favorite flavor, it would probably be, I can't do peach no more because I threw up drinking peach one night. Can't do it no more.
Yeah.
But I like half and half. Half and half is my favorite, and I have not tried the new ice pop yet. So I'll break a couple out at the meet.
Now, is half and half like an Arnold Palmer?
I was going to ask the same thing.
Half lemonade?
Yep.
Word.
Okay. Yep.
They just can't call it an Arnold Palmer because it's like, stealing copyright shit.
Yeah.
We don't know anything about that in this Discord world, though. Nothing. We don't know anything like that. So Twisted Tea, we're gonna go ahead and give that a big old underrated. Number 2. This one's this is the guy I always like to bring up. He's one of my favorite members of the gym. I hear he's got a huge bench and he's got arms on him just like fucking cannons. So overrated or underrated? Massenomics gym member, or at least locker owner, Dante Culpepper.
Oh, man. Are we going to talk about his
entire life? It doesn't have to be his Massenomic lore. It could just, as a man. I mean, because I hear you're a Packers fan, so you might not like him specifically because of the Minnesota Vikings ties.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just go. It's your podcast. It's your druthers. You tell me. And then if you wanted to yeah, I don't spoil one of the host jokes if you don't want to, but I think we all know the real truth.
I would obviously go with overrated. I do not like any Vikings players. But as for him down in the gym, he is a great guy. So I think that's all I have to say about that right now. We may eventually, that joke may come out here soon, so we'll see.
That's good. That's good. Okay, so my buddy Matt Cessny out here, he wanted to know this one. So overrated or underrated? And this is actually kind of funny because you might have touched on it earlier. Homemade gym equipment, any of the homemade equipment that's been there or currently is in Massenomics Gym.
As a collective, like all the homemade pieces, I would definitely go underrated. They're great. But like our old reverse hyper, that was tough to use. Could not get on it. But everything else we had, it got the job done. And it got used a ton by almost everyone in the gym, especially back in the day when that's all we had. So I was around a little bit before that, and then Tanner all of a sudden we started upgrading. So that's been pretty nice too, though.
Yeah, that we've enjoyed watching that from the side. I feel like it almost feels like they just had an influx of like 20 grand every year the last couple of years. It's just like homemade equipment, and then here let's buy all Rogue monster racks ×3, and like that's like 40-50 grand. So it's been really cool to see the gym grow.
Like 4 or 5 lift shorts, I think, has covered everything.
Yeah, so. I mean, yeah. My wife was on the website. My wife, she was on the website the other day, and she was like, "Is this a joke? Are they really $100?" And because they're marked down to like $29.98. Well, it's 31 or something now. But she like didn't get the joke at first, and I got a kick out of that. So I guess I'll knock out this last one, and I'll switch over to my co-host here. So Big Kevin wants to know, overrated or underrated? Kaden, what do you think about the Aberdeen magazine?
Obviously overrated. It's not worth a cat's ass, I would say. The fact that the gym hasn't been brought up in it at all, or the podcast, it's the running joke. Eventually that answer may switch if they ever acknowledge us. So otherwise I never look at it. So I know I think my grandparents check it out. And I think they do like an online.
Is it a weekly thing or like a monthly thing? How often is that? I guess I don't know.
I think it's monthly, and then there's like special editions or certain things that come out every once in a while. So
I wonder if I know he's listening. Maybe instead of a billboard next time, we take an ad out in Aberdeen magazine.
So neither of you guys are big in the you haven't been in the Discord all this week, and Caden's kind of just a gawker. But the Tanner did post something. I know is it a bit or not? I think it's in the in the meet thread talking about how someone will be featured in it. Some local to Aberdeen crew member. He kept on putting that in parentheses, I believe. So I don't know if he's just playing it up or
it's just his wife.
That's what we all thought. Like everyone responded with the plant emoji. So it's just her getting in there with her plant club again. So that would probably be funny, but I don't know. He was just playing up to it.
It would be funny if they just took an ad out in Aberdeen magazine for Massenomics Gym.
I mean, honestly, if we could, there would probably be at least 10 crew that throw $20 at that. Like, what's an ad going to be like? $200? Like,
absolutely.
That would be worth it. That could be worth it.
That would make 300. That would make 300 of us laugh really hard once.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'm going to jump in and do. Actually, there's 4 more left for you. So we went 2 more than normal.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I have no clue what these words mean, and they come from Big Eddie.
Okay.
Overrated or underrated? Captains of Crush.
Do you want to tell Joey what it is first, and then give us your totals?
It's grippers, hand grippers.
Oh, okay.
Like, oh man,
This was brought up because you were informed that you're like a big grip fan.
I do enjoy doing grip. As for Captain's Crush being overrated or underrated, it's hard because we had those first, and then we got the Grip Genie ones. So I would have to say underrated because they are. We had this thing going on where if I got closed to 2.5, I told Tanner he has to get 3, so I have something else to work for. So I got the 2.5 closed, and now I'm working on 3, trying to. I kind of put the grip on the back burner a little bit for the meet, but after this, I'll take a little break and get into strongman and start hitting grip again. So I would have to go underrated with Captain's a Crush.
All right, that makes sense. Good, thanks for the explanation.
Brief perspective. My buddy bought me a Captain's Crush number 2 accidentally because he meant to buy a 1 because we have like a trainer and a 0.5 or something like that or whatever it is, and he bought like 3 sizes harder than he intended to, and like no one here fucking could even like get it. One kid I think got like an inch from closing it, but I'm like, so the fact that you closed a 2.5, like perspective, like I know that means you like are 25% stronger than that other guy that was here, so that's pretty cool that you got a 2.5. Now did he honor that and buy a 3?
Yep, we did get the 3, and then I was like, I told him, I was joking with him. I was like, it's right when we get it, I'm crushing that thing, and I got it, and it didn't move hardly at all. So that one will be a work in progress. But I honestly can probably go down to the gym anytime I want, like just walk in and grab the 2.5 and close it like right there. I trained grip, especially during my hypertrophy phase. I did a lot of grip because I got so bored of doing sets and reps of just squat, bench, deadlift. So I did a lot of grip training and had good success with it. And I'm excited to get back to it after this meet.
All right. Overrated or underrated? Tanner's backyard lawn. Yes. Got it. So that one and the next 2 are all me.
So for context, with the company I work with, we take care of Tanner's lawn, so hopefully it'll be looking good for the meet. For those of you that don't keep up with the weather updates, it's been pretty warm up here, and the last time I was we were helping Tanner's wife with some dirt, and I noticed that it was pretty dry, and I looked at it, and it was sprinkler heads weren't working properly, it looked like, or wasn't getting full coverage because it was just nice and green around the sprinkler heads, and then around it that was brown. But when it's in its tip-top shape, I would have to go underrated because it's one of the nicest lawns on the block there. His neighbor across the street, we've been doing their lawn for a very long time, and it is also very nice. And then the neighbor right to the south of them is also a very nice lawn. But there's something about Tanner's that it's just nice and green and no weeds. So you guys can thank me for that when you guys are there next week.
That's what I was thinking.
We're going to have to poke some holes in it after this get together Friday night because that's going to be a lot of compaction on the lawn. It won't take in water as proper.
Yeah, you're going to aerate.
Yeah.
And that's so if people that don't know, the aeration is you poke holes and then you pull out a chunk of dirt. But as a Canadian, that little chunk of dirt also looks like goose poop. So as like a young kid, you're just like, why is there so much goose poop on this person's lawn? But it turns out it was just aeration.
Can I hijack real quick before we move on? So as a lawn care technician in Aberdeen, South Dakota, what do you do for the other 9 months when it's snowing and negative 40 degrees?
I do Oh, geez. So a couple years ago, I worked at an ice rink because what else is there to do? I ran one of the city ice rinks in town. I was a supervisor there, just giving kids skates and watching them skate and make sure none of them get hurt. And if they do get hurt, I got to call their parents. The last 2 years, I've worked at Target here in town. My first year there, I was Target security along with Big Mason. So us two big brutes up front, making sure no one stole anything. It was pretty cool. That was a fun experience. And then this past winter, I went back to Target, but I worked in the electronics department because there was no AP leader, and I couldn't go back to the security. I would much rather have done that, but I did enjoy selling stuff in electronics. And a fun fact about Big Mason is he's a manager at Target. Soon to be gone. He's moving back to Sioux Falls at the end of the month, but he will also be a manager down there, I believe, at Target. Yes. So that's what I do in the wintertime if I can get to work because there's so much snow.
Yeah, that was mainly what I didn't mean to hijack, but I was just mainly getting at the whole pun of weather update, and you're doing lawn care, and it's literally snowing 6 months out of the year. So that's all I wanted.
Interesting thing. I don't know if we've talked about this before. We had Target in Canada for about a year and a half or 2 years. And that is actually where my career started in what I do now. Mm-hmm. And we were in the electronics section. And my wife was working at the Starbucks. And then she was eventually promoted into the electronics section. And that's where we became friends. But you don't shit where you eat. We were both seeing other people at the same time. We always I like to think that we always knew something was there, but we work together, so we can't explore it. We're also seeing people. Obviously, you can't explore that, even if there was the option. But then eventually, once Target closed, we got together. So we made a point now of going down our first trip back to Target. So that we have a connection there.
Yep. Maybe I'll help you sell something to you.
Just
get in there. You can use my discount.
You know what? They actually gave me that discount, even though I wasn't employed by them at the time. That was really fun. Target was a great company to work for.
Mm-hmm. Did all Targets close in Canada, or just
absolutely all of them?
Okay, that's because you said it like it's so emphatically, like we all knew, and I'm like, I don't know Canadian Target politics. That's the thing that was
okay. Yeah, just brief story.
Yeah. I'm very curious about it. Like
Target came up here, and it was groundbreaking. We were all so excited, but they decided to open 120 locations immediately.
Oh, geez!
And that spread out all of their distribution, spread out all of their management, and then a year and a half later, they were just like, "Yeah, this isn't working. We got to go." So
that's like billions of dollars they had to have lost.
Interestingly, we talked about it. It's if you go and read any stories about it, it's genuinely how to fail at business. It was launching Target Canada, but I want to make it very clear that even the person that failed probably still got paid their bonus, and that's the other way to fail at business. Okay, so overrated or underrated? Moving on, that was very serious talk for me. Overrated or underrated? Mewtwo.
Oh my gosh, we're getting into some Pokemon.
Okay, I was going to ask you to explain it first, just for the listeners and myself that don't know what that was. But okay, Pokemon.
Yep. So Mewtwo is I would say he's the 152nd Pokemon ever created. I would say he's a clone of Mew, a better version of Mew. And he was a bad guy, and he could talk to people through.
He was psychic.
Psychic, yep. He can talk to people reading their minds and whatnot. The movie is a great movie, but I would have to go with overrated because I do not like his design, and Mew is substantially better.
Mew is way more fun. Mew is way more fun, way more interesting, and probably a little more powerful. But the weakness being is kind of stupid. Whereas Mewtwo was very intelligent and very calculated, and that probably was why he wasn't so powerful.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree. That was good. That was a good answer. And
throwing a little Pokemon at me.
I look forward to the controversy that's going to create.
Yeah.
Everybody loved Mewtwo at the time, Keith. If you haven't seen the Pokemon movie, Mewtwo blew up, as any villain does, right?
And then his story is sad. Yeah, his story is kind of sad. He was created in a lab. Yeah. But just looking at him as a Pokemon, I do not like him. And I remember playing, I believe it was Fire Red, because I was not old enough to play the original like Game Boy, just red, blue, yellow. Mm-hmm. And I remember going into that Cerulean cave.
That was not the original Game Boy.
Was it?
Well, I'm just saying, like, you're right. Like,
no, so he's talking he's talking original Game Boy Pokemon games.
Oh, okay, my bad.
The original Game Boy, the big brick.
Yeah, sorry.
I think there was a Pokemon game on there, but I don't think it was the Pokemon game. Because there's the red, the blue, and the yellow. Like, those were the Pokemon, the Game Boy versions. They were the actual games. And then the next big one probably was Pokemon Go, to be honest. Gotcha. There was a Nintendo 64 one, wasn't there?
Yeah, it was and on the GameCube, I think it was called Pokemon Colosseums.
GameCube is what I'm thinking. Yes, Colosseum.
Colosseum. And then I know there was some on the Wii and whatnot, but I've always just played the handheld version. Yeah. But back to the Mewtwo is I remember going into the cave and I'm just a little kid and you pull up in there the first time and it's dark and you walk into him. He attacks you and he's level 70 and he steamrolled my entire team, even though at the time my team was literally just a Charizard, because at the time Charizard was my favorite Pokemon. So I just played the game. I played the game like that. Now I always go back. I usually play Pokemon like once a year. I get like the urge to do it. And
I sometimes miss Pokemon Go. When I bought a car and moved to the country, it wasn't like, oh, I'm walking to the bus stop. Might as well open it and count my steps. And I used to love that. Yeah. And then once you started driving, you're just like, who cares? I don't have the time for this. Yeah. All right. So last one. Last one's always for all the marbles.
All the marbles. Yep.
Overrated or underrated? Having a silly goose time in the gym.
It's definitely underrated. We're kind of serious down there most of the time. Not most of the time. Just like when there's any heavy lifting involved. The rest of the time it's just having fun, making fun of each other. It seems like every weekend we always find like a little challenge to do where we all test. We've done like grip challenges, hanging challenges. But yeah, we definitely, there's a lot more talking than there is lifting on some days, especially on days where we don't have to get too crazy lifting heavy, and it's just a easy day, and it's more of like a get together. The gym is my social hour, and I use it that way. I like having a good time with all the guys down there.
All right, absolutely. Well, congratulations. I think you passed overrated, underrated.
Nice. I was worried for a second.
So we will air this episode and even let Tanner listen to it.
Oh, geez.
So, what is the next big? I think it's the next one's he asks us question, right?
Yeah, buddy. We can close with that. I did just want to brief. This is gonna be the longest podcast ever, but your answer surprised me on there because I had a couple. I'm not gonna name names. There was a couple guys said that you're a little bit of a hard ass in the gym and you don't like playing grab ass when you have a big lift. That's why I was blown away with your answer. Oh, we lost Joey.
I am.
No. I'm still here. I just have to turn my camera off for about 30 seconds.
No, you're good. You're good. Sorry.
Yeah, when I lift, I take lifting very seriously. I always have, and I always will. And sometimes the music isn't right. Sometimes the guys say,
music was brought up, and there was a couple. I'm going to put you on the spot. I was just like, oh, that answer.
No, that's good.
What the what I was led to believe.
But
And then Larry did just want to get in that he is the shaft master. That was the last thing that I got from basically all my notes that I didn't have a chance to touch on. That Larry said that you were a little upset that he is the shaft master.
He can be the shaft master of the bars, but until someone beats me on picking up weight with that eggplant, I think we'll change the title. I'll be the eggplant master for now.
There you go.
So until someone in the gym can beat me in that, which there's a couple guys that I think have a shot. But
those always crack me up when I see people lifting that freaking pecker emoji and just get a crack out of it.
It's an aubergine.
Yeah, you can thank me for that. I was actually watching. At the time it was like the newest Juji video, and I sent Tanner a Snapchat, and I was like, we should get these for grip training, and he's like, I was thinking about it, and now that you brought it up, I will. He's like, that was my sign to get it. So we got it. And I remember the first day that we got it, I was super excited. And this was just a couple weeks ago, actually. I got 215 on it, and it was fun. And then we did a little competition. And I can't remember I think Larry got second behind me, but it was substantially behind me. So
there you go. Gotta get that dig in.
Yep.
Well, with that, do you have anything you'd like to turn around and ask us, my friend? I know you don't know us. Whatever you got. It could be about the podcast, be about us, and I don't know if the last couple guys did some deep diving into our profiles. So what do you got for us this week, buddy?
So this one, I'm not going to say who. I asked around for some questions.
Ooh,
that's
some research.
Yeah, I don't trust that.
And this was brought up.
The tables have turned.
It's would you rather? Okay. Would you rather have Tanner's beard or Tommy's hair?
Tanner's beard, 100%.
Is that for both of us or one of us?
Both of you guys.
Oh, okay. So Tanner's beard for you?
Yeah, I don't like hair. I only like facial hair.
Oh, yeah.
Head hair bugs me.
I already have a better beard than half the Discord, so I'll take Tommy's hair.
There you go.
Actually, I'm going for a trim tomorrow. I want to go get it shaped before coming down to Aberdeen. So I'll be doing that tomorrow myself, getting it taken in. I don't like when it gets like big on the sides.
Yeah.
Actually, I should disclose honestly, I do like that. It's just not feasible for my wife or my job. If I had my way, I wouldn't touch it, and it would grow out and down, and I would look like an insane wild man.
So your beard does not have your druthers. Sorry. You're not.
Yeah, I wish I had to shave. I had a decent one going, facial hair in my family is not really a thing, so I'm happy when it grows in good. And I had a pretty good one going, but then this whole becoming a police officer thing and the interview, and I had to look professional, so I didn't want to have my big shaggy ginger beard on me going in and talking with those high-ranking officers in the room, so I had to shave it off. And I do not think it'll be back for the meet. And I was really hoping to go. I like going goatee mustache with the competition. So but I don't think I'll be able to this meet. So I think I'll just be rocking the stash.
One of the things I got to thank the hipster movement for was allowing me to grow a beard. Is because they all started doing it, and then I was like, I don't really want to shave anymore either. And I don't know if I've ever told the story of my beard on the podcast. I have always had facial hair of some sort, and sometimes I've had a mustache. I used to have big long chops to look silly because I don't really care about my personal appearance in most ways. As long as I look presentable and neat, I can look silly at the same time. But this actually goes back to what I was saying about meeting my wife. When we first started kind of thinking of seeing each other, I got really sick and shaved because I got sick of boogers in my beard. Yeah. So we were like, after I got a little better, I went and met her, and she looked at me and she's just like, you should have a beard always. Because it was about as thick as I think yours is right now, Keith. Right. And then I was at the time, I even was like, I'll do what I want. You don't tell me what to do. And then one day I went to go shave and my razor was rusted. And I remember this day because it was the last time I ever shaved. I literally looked at the razor and went, yeah, I'm never buying one of these again. Nice. And I haven't. I've had a beard since, and I think it's been 8 to 9 years where I just started growing this and I just get it topped off, chopped off, shaped, just so I don't. Because I also believe when I first went to my job and started growing it, I work with customers. I'm customer facing. And they said, it's like a beard isn't really, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to get so good at this job that you ignore my beard.
Yeah.
And now I'm management, leadership. Now I'm kind of like seen as one of the top in my industry. So like, what beard, eh? What beard? And then they told, well, don't get tattoos. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll show you too. I understand being a police officer is different. You can't just be like, yeah, I'll do what I want. You have things and you have to wear masks at certain times and they have to, like, I get that. I understand that. Yeah. I just don't have that.
It's a small price to pay for salvation. Mm-hmm. That's a Marvel quote. But my other question was,
another one.
Yeah, we kind of touched on it. I was going to ask you guys what's going to be your guys' favorite stops here in the local Aberdabber, the upper western northeast South Dakota. But we kind of already covered it. But Big Keith, what would it be besides the gym, do you think?
I want to poop at Tanner's house. No, I'm just kidding. I
want to fart on Tanner's hats.
Payback's a bitch. I mean, fuck. Just the fulfillment center, I guess, would be cool because that's like, where literally everything. We kind of get. I almost wish we didn't get the behind the scenes the other day with the fulfillment center YouTube, assuming he actually like lets a couple people like I'm sure he doesn't want 60 people in his basement, but there's got to be like he can't like I don't know because he's literally not going to let us into his house, like which would be fine. Like I don't know that I'd let 60 people into my house, but like it would be cool to see the fulfillment center for sure.
The reason he did the YouTube is so less people would ask.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah,
walk in there. I remember my first time seeing it, and I was like, oh, so this is where the business gets done. When I first went to his house, I think it was the first time was at the Massenomics gym party. After that, I don't really remember much because the Twisted Tea did get me. So, but I do remember going downstairs and checking that out and thinking it was pretty cool.
I think the coolest thing would have been if Tommy still lived in Aberdeen and we could see the actual podcast studio, like the in person with the neon sign, like the thing that we all watched the YouTube videos on for the past couple of years. Like that would have been legit for sure. I think that's the most memorable one for me.
Well, you're in luck because I believe those pieces are just scattered about Aberdeen now. And by scattered, I mean the neon signs in the gym, and I think the two chairs are at Tanner's. Okay. I think up in the living room, so you should be able to see them. And then even if we can knock on the door at Tommy's old house and see if they let us in to see the room.
Like I might be a cop someday. You have to let me in.
Yeah, could I just check it out real quick? Just real quick.
Okay, and this is something that I've been thinking of asking somebody. So I won a big check about a year or two ago.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
And rather than ship me it, they printed one of my own and then did something with the other one. Do you know where that is? Because nobody will tell me. There is a check with my name written in scraggly marker somewhere in Aberdabber, South Dakota.
Like a big one?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like 6 feet or something. Isn't it?
It's a giant check. It's a gigantic billboard of a check.
Oh man, I don't know. I don't remember hearing a story about that.
That's all right. If you haven't seen it, that's fine. But I am.
Maybe it made its way down to like Sioux Falls with like one of Tanner's cousins or something that
Oh,
lived down
oh,
there.
I was going to ask if you're related to Tanner because like everyone in Aberdeen and or Sioux Falls is related to Tanner in one way or another. But,
Yeah.
what Tommy tells us, he runs into some of Tanner's kin every other episode.
Yeah. Not related, but our families, on my mom's side, my grandmother's, she's from Brentford, and Tanner's from Brentford, and that's just a 10, 15 minute, maybe 20-minute drive south of here. So that was cool when we both realized that. And I was just randomly down in Brentford one day, and I sent him and I said, "Oh, I'm in the land of the Bairds." And he's like, "Oh, what are you doing down there?" And I'm like, "I have family down here." He's like, "Oh, no way." And he knew them, and so we were closer than we thought when we first met.
Nice. Well, got anything else for us, buddy? Or we want to bring this in on for a landing? I mean, first we have to dive right in, and then we can think about a landing.
Yes. Yep. And guys, Big Matt wasn't available tonight. We actually tried to get him on this week as well, and we just ran out of time for Big Matt. So I got to say, Big Matt, mostly squat videos. We were looking forward to having you on. We're going to get it scheduled, and hopefully when we see you in Aberdeen, we'll have a little bit of a chat about the best method of doing that to finally make our schedules work. I think this is getting a little out of hand. But I do want to thank Kaden for stepping in when we were unavailable to get Matt. I am, of course, Big Joey. You can find me on Instagram at BigJoey_MLECZKO, or if you just go to Massenomics following, I'm on there. And you can follow our page at unpaid.underrated, and our website at unpaidinternpodcast.com. Keith, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find Keith. You can find me, Big Keith, at KeithUnnica73 on Instagram, and go follow my gym, the No Wine Cellar.
Oh, do you speak in third person now? Are you like The Rock?
Yeah, so I closed the show notes early, so now I'm like, I don't know where I am.
You can follow me,
completely freaking lost.
If you smell what the Keith is cooking,
and it smells like orange glaze.
Orange glaze. How about you, Kaden? Where can we find you, buddy? Or do you want us to find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Kaden Johnson _00, and also just go to the Massenomics page and see me following there. Besides that, that's really the only social media I use. So.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get to Threads. We got to talk about Threads.
That would have been a good conversation.
Yeah, it's like Twitter, but not. It's all the rage. It's all the rage. All right. Well, I'm ready to go.
All right, boys. Well, we will see a lot of you in Aberdeen next week, but for the rest of you, we'll see you next Tuesday.